Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we are still recovering from the end of that game.
That was crazy. I need to walk.
5-champ stun from a Jax. Flash stun into a pentakill for Meech. That was absolutely crazy.
Surely that's like a first of five-man counter strikes. I've literally never seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, in the history of the game, it's definitely happened a couple of times.
Yeah, we'll say
it's happened, but man, in a fashion like that. And like we said before, the game was already very swinging towards CLG. It was pretty much their game to lose at that point. But god damn, the style points from Jenkins. Oh.
And I said this right after y'all threw it to break. The biggest, most impactful play of the game would have been Copy hitting a seismic shove after the second Baron take to kill a couple members of FlyQuest and then prevent them from all getting out of the pit and then back with Baron buff on everybody.
Yep.
But then, of course, this happened. So, we got to give it to that. But we're actually going to play a little bit of a game here because, of course, it is our halftime show. We're giving the players some time to get ready for their second game of the day. So we like to fill that by having some fun. We're playing a game called Pixel Perfect. Now, I actually made my own graphic for it this time. You can see down there, but here to explain the rules, because Beatdown, I know that you've struggled a little bit here.
Hey, I smashed the first one. What is this fake news?
So,
for 0.
I was taking screenshots of the game that, in my opinion, kind of tell the story of the game. Now, some of them are 16-bit. They're pretty easy to tell what's going on. Some of them are 8-bit, harder to tell, and some are 1-bit, and they're basically impossible to tell. Now, it's 3 points for a 1-bit, 2 points for an 8-bit, 1 point for a 16-bit. Rafa, I'll give you the first one. Which do you want to go for?
You already know me, baby. You gotta go big or you gotta go home. Give me the 1-bit.
Give you the 1-bit. All right. What is the context of this 1-bit image that you see on your screen?
I think I know what that is.
I think that's Copy stasising the damage from this is top side, blue side jungle. So UG and Spyrex were looking for Copy. Spyrex landed the charm onto the Copy, and then UG's coming in with the assault or the cease and desist. Yeah, it's no longer sold in battery. Cease and desist onto Copy, and then he goes and he's about to go golden. So it completely stops the play.
No. I'm sorry to hurt your flow there, Rafa. I like that you're telling the story, but that is not the correct play. That was a cool moment, though. I did like that moment. Beatdown, you have an opportunity to steal.
Yeah.
This is not that moment, but what is it?
I believe it's a similar moment in the mid lane, actually, where UG uses the cease and desist, because I think that line can't be anything else.
Okay. It's not in the mid lane.
Damn it.
This is when FlyQuest went for broke. This is one of their moments where I wanted to highlight this because I think it told an interesting story of how FlyQuest was approaching the game, which is base.
Is this not the play that I was talking about?
No. This isn't when. I don't believe Copy goes gold. I thought you were talking about when he's top lane. If this is the play you're talking about.
Because, Copy was trying to get out with Weaver's Wall in the other play, but this play, he's in the top jungle. UG initiates, and then Spyrex, and so you're going to see when he goes golden after.
Yeah, he does go golden here.
The Orbit
Deception. He gets the wild growth.
Yeah. And he...
All right. Well, I'm trolling Rafa by saying he's not right. I'll give it to you then. The biggest thing I noticed here is the way that FlyQuest Challengers approach this fight. They don't have a lot of vision to work with, and they full commit. Masu even gets baited in a little bit. He goes forward, which told me two things. One, Masu's an aggressive player. We know this about him based on just his gameplay, but he trusts Yuji. Masu was following up on Yuji's play here. He gets punished because then Jenkins gets a teleport, jumps over the wall, flanks, and just one-shots Masu. So I think Masu's willing to put himself in really risky positions, but I think it's cool because it shows how much the team was backing up the calls of Yuji. Even if they're going this deep, even if they're going kind of crazy for it, still cool to see. All right, that's points to Rafa. Beatdown.
I want the other 1-bit.
The other 1-bit. I need to, because I always do them chronologically. I need to start with the 1-bits or make them a little crazier. All right, what's going on here? Beatdown?
Jesus.
Come on. It's a bunch of health bars.
Yeah, but like the white background, like is really throwing me for a loop here.
Okay, okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fight?
Huh?
Baron fight?
Rafa, I know that you were going to get this, so I'm not even going to give you the chance to steal because I saw you dancing. This was the 5-champ stun!
Oh,
Come on,
The
beatdown!
Jack's pen.
What are you doing?
5-man stun, yeah.
Look at how beautiful this setup is. He gets the flank from the mid lane, walks through the river on... I forgot what we call that one. The Enclave Bush, something like that. And then he just gets this beautiful 5-champ stun. Followed up. Meech gets a pentakill. Beautiful stuff. Rafa, like I said, I'm just going to give you the points. You get 6 there. But do you want to go for a 16-bit or an 8-bit
crazy.
next?
8-bit, 8-bit.
You're going for an 8-bit. All right. So these ones are a little easier to tell what's going on. They're not as crazy. What is the context of this image?
Oh, fly. What does that say? Is that fly? Dude, I cannot.
Dude, it's so crazy what 1-bit does to letters.
There's a Weaver's Wall that's about to happen, so I don't. I'm.
Look at the
Actually,
level.
I know this is. Hey, what are these hints, bro? What is this?
He's an LCS caster. You know, we got to give him.
Oh, I see. Good to
special
know.
treatment.
You can't give me special treatment just because I'm on LCS now. I'm still the same Rafa, guys. Like, I haven't
5,
changed.
4, 3,
I don't know.
2, 1. All right, beatdown. Can you steal?
Yeah, it was Copy's first Weaver's Wall.
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. Copy.
In the
Getting
bot lane.
active early
Yeah,
on
right.
the map, goes for the early bot lane gank on the Talia, and Copy was dictating a lot of the pace of the game.
Sure.
I think that's the biggest thing that we learned is Copy's just so comfortable getting out onto the map and just taking the game into his own hands. So there we go. Now, Beatdown, I'm going to assume that you want another 8-bit.
I do. You've assumed correctly.
All right, what is the context of this image? I'll give you a hint. It's 2255.
You know,
that's what
believe
that
it or
says.
not,
I know
I
it's
could
really hard
read
to
that.
see.
But
Oh,
thank
okay,
you.
sweet.
2255, and there's only.
What is the context? Like what happens at this time?
I'm gonna say 2255 is probably. I'm gonna
5,
say
4,
dragon
3,
fight.
2. Not specific enough. I'm not going to give you the point for that. Rafa, can you steal?
This is the third dragon fight where FlyQuest are indecisive about how they're going to approach CLG. So CLG say, all right, screw this. We're going to ball. Weaver's Wall down the middle. Nature's Wrath blocks them all up. And then, yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. I will give you half points because the specific answer I was looking for is this is the exact moment the second kill of the entire freaking game happens. Copy goes for that gank bot lane, gets a kill, and then it's like 15 minutes for the next kill to happen. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, we're ready for pick and ban, so let's just relive the rest of the game real quick here because I gotta give him a little bit of props. UG with the level 1 invade, that was really cool to see. And then I'm sorry, Kevy, I gotta throw a little bit of shade for doing the walk away and not quite clear the scuttle. But with that said, we are ready for pick and ban. So I'm gonna pass it over to Rafa and Beatdown to take it away.
Appreciate you, Kangas, and thanks for the pixel perfect.
I don't.
Game. I mean, you got to get better at the game. You know, you beat me on the 8-bit, though. You know, I'll give you that one.
I'll take that. It's the small things.
The small dubs in life. You know, just like FlyQuest, there's some small dubs that they had in the early game and things that, you know, they can look towards the building upon. But, you know, once again, as we highlighted for CLG Challengers, the difference in decisiveness is stark. So, CLG Challengers, I mean, they can continue playing the game that they want to do if they want to prioritize the Zeri Lulu for Meech and Breezy. Meech had a fantastic game. Pentakill to top it off all at the end.
Absolutely. And I think the thing most interesting to me about this switch up is that FlyQuest chose to go on the red side. I was talking to somebody about the stats and percentages of, you know, win percentage per side, and blue is actually extremely high at the moment here, which I find interesting, especially because a lot of the same picks are happening at the moment here. Could be a different counter pick that FlyQuest will be looking for later on. I mean, are they really gonna? It's gonna be Zeri Lulu, right? You can't fool me. Come on.
Yeah, and no need to change what isn't broken from the side of CLG Challengers. So far, FlyQuest seem to just be running back everything. I would not be surprised if at least the first round of draft is just pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, Beatdown, there's nothing wrong with the core of the champions they picked. It's just picking up the pace. And then when the opportunities presented themselves to you, you have to pull the trigger.
Right, and I think the interesting thing is, are we going to ban Gnar or are we going to ban the Taliyah? Because, I mean, Kangas highlighted it. We've been talking about it all last game. His Taliyah was a big part of controlling the pace of that game. Everything about like the way he was piloting the champion was so hugely positive for CLG, and it's looking like FlyQuest. They know it, they recognize it, but again, you want to ensure Philip has the best matchup he can, so you got to get rid of the safe blinds. And CLG, I mean, I'm pretty sure we've seen this movie before. Surely they just lock Taliyah again.
Kassadin and Azir were the last bans that CLG Challengers had in the previous game. Yeah, I mean, this... Now, I imagine that maybe things change in one of these solo lanes, maybe not the Sante, but maybe. Or we could just get a classic fighting game special of a salty run back where CLG Challengers like, all right. I mean, Coach Juves is probably just like, all right, I guess they're just running back the same draft.
I mean, yeah, you said it. That like blue 2, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm looking at you, Spyrax. What do you got in the pocket? What are we looking for? Are we digging deep?
If he runs back the Ari,
like it's a good
combo. I just want to see FlyQuest make stuff happen. I couldn't find my bleep button, so make stuff happen before it gets too out of hand and CLG are ready to play and come online.
Oh wait, it's not a lock-in. I honestly I can't even imagine that's a good matchup. So, yeah, that makes more sense. And Mark, if you're a FlyQuest fan, I want you to sing it with me. I think I've seen this film before, but I didn't like the ending because they're running it back.
Yep. Everyone in the chat, I think this is the first time on Challengers League. Maybe I'm wrong because I haven't, gone back and seen every single draft. But I believe, and I'm willing to bet money on this, that this is our first run back that we have
first
had.
NECL run back.
Our first NECL run back here on Challengers League. I mean, what a great time to be alive.
Yeah. And you know what? It saves us a lot of time and effort. Because if you were watching game 1, I mean, the setup and everything about it is still the same. You know what I mean? Like, at the early game, very much FlyQuest time to shine. Masu, to his credit, Masu and Kitong were naturally finding a lot of advantages in the 2v2, and that is definitely something I'm sure that they're going to try and emulate into the second game. And I mean, and another thing to say too, the thing with 13-1B, Mark, that Navori change and everything like it, when you have Navori as Lucian and you're 4 or 5 items, we saw it, those cullings hurt, man.
Yep. You don't want to get peppered down with those blickies firing at your back. That's
right.
Wait,
did you say glizzies?
No, I said blickies.
Aw.
Because everyone keeps giving me crap about... I grew up calling them glizzies. And it was like, no, glizzies are hot dogs. You call them blickies. I'm like, all right.
If it makes you feel better, I've never once in my entire life called a hot dog a glizzy. And I don't think I plan to start.
See? Like, just... I don't know where that came from. I'm pretty sure it's just regional within the country.
Yeah,
just
probably.
Like, some parts call them glizzies. Some call them hot dogs and... etc. So forth. We just call them dogs, just like
there you go.
DAWG. Oh,
there's definitely gonna be one of those in this game. I promise you, Mark.
Oh, we got to bring up Joshi. You know what? Joshi isn't working today on either of the Challengers League's broadcasts, so I could just text him and be like, "Hey, Joshi, there's a player that's just really going ham. Can I just get a quick? It's got that dog in him."
It would be great. I think we need that like on a soundbite or something,
True. You know what?
I think that's it.
Now I can find a way to use the sound recorder on this the Go XLR they have.
Hey, that's true. Making full use of our purchases, Mark. We love to see that.
True. Well, that's something that FlyQuest definitely have to do, because last time around, we talked about one of those big windows that they had in the early mid-game was when Masu was on 2 items. But did they really fight with that advantage? Not really. Masu got a couple of cullings in, but that was it. They never pushed the pace. And if you're wondering why we're just talking about, whatever we want, it's because we ran back the same draft, and we're not really expecting that much difference unless Masu and King Tong decide to push the pace here. 2v2 all in from Masu and King Tong, but Meech and Breezy hold on to their flashes, not willing to burn anything else. Everyone is staying close to the line, and now UG has a flash to work with.
Hold the turbulence!
It still connects, but Copy, no way, gets out of luck.
Electrocute!
FlyQuest pick up first blood.
You know what? We got some differences between game 1 and 2, and the results might shock you, Mark. The Spyrex will be able to pick up the first kill. And overall, a better start, I think, for FlyQuest. You get first blood this time instead of Meech getting it like we saw in that last game. And it's just a really nice play from Yuji. I think, honestly, trying to influence that mid matchup early on is very intelligent. Is because of the fact that Copy was so influential, especially post level 6. You set him behind, you give Spyrex advantages, making sure it's harder for Copy to leave lane. You can really shut down what he's been able to do. Get those early advantages that we need to see if we are wanting FlyQuest to even out the series.
FlyQuest running back the same draft. The only thing you want to hope for, if you're a FlyQuest fan, is that there's adaptations in the gameplay on when to make moves. And the first move from FlyQuest is before 5 minutes into the game. Great already first use. And notice here, even though it was Spyrex's flash that was used, Copy's flash was also burned. Yuji still has his flash. So
that's right.
If we're both junglers, Beat, if we're the Vi in this instance, we're clearing this bot side and we're like, I wonder if Copy has vision on the bottom side of this river, because if he doesn't, that's a dead Talia to my sides if she ever overextends. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know what you're saying, Mark, and that's an impression Mazel would be proud of. Now we'll see if Yuji can make a play you and I would be proud of. I know we both have played this champion quite a good bit. Nothing hits quite like the Flash Vault Breaker, and Yuji certainly has that opportunity, especially because now... Actually, something I want to highlight too, looking at this bottom matchup again. Masu, Kitong, not getting the leads we saw early on. I think Meech and Breezy definitely learned their lesson with how these lane interactions going with those two. But this time we're seeing Masu, instead of building the Noon Quiver off the first back, is going for the more common Serrated Dirk. You get a lot of lane pressure with this. Your abilities will do more damage, and of course the AD helps your auto attacks and everything like that. So I think still, this means that, Masu is in a really good spot to keep control of this bottom lane, and I want to see Yuji use that, especially with Spyrex hitting level 6 is now moving towards the bottom side of the map. We could see Yuji do the same.
Now, we are obviously giving a lot of props just in the way that FlyQuest are making adaptations, but one of the reasons why FlyQuest not only slightly slow in their gameplay, but also CLG, very good defensive team in the early game when they want to go for a more scaling-oriented game. And now Jenkins already has the pop-up.
Oh, level 6!
Oh, wait, all out. Does he have the damage? But he dodges down the Q. Foil flashing forward, but Kevy is there to assist and make sure his top laner is saved.
Wow, the timing from Kevy could not have been better. That was almost an incredible play for Philip. I mean, recognizing that he was about to hit level 6, but it doesn't work out. Now it gives Yuji the opportunity to go ahead and start the dragon sooner. Dragon stacking for FlyQuest overall, I think, is good for them, but it is unfortunate. Philip does get caught out and taken down on that top side of the map. Kevy has that bit of extra gold in his pocket.
Yeah, and just as we were saying before, CLG, got to give him credits for great defense in the first game because FlyQuest didn't push the pace as much as they wanted to. CLG had to only make small moves to counteract a lot of the pressure that FlyQuest was putting out. This time around, Jenkins, knowing that Kevy was in the area, he felt confident taking the 1v1 against Philip, and Kevy was there to salvage the bit of the end of it. Philip was super close to taking out Jenkins, but now a little bit of the story has changed despite the drafts being the same thing here. Beatdown.
Right, and we're already seeing that Spyrex has had several more opportunities because of those changes, Mark, to get out of lane. He gets that shove in. Copy has to respect the fact that his flash isn't available, though. Will be up in a few more seconds, and it means that he didn't have as many chances as he might have hoped to be able to get out of lane. The Weaver's wall is up.
Oh, great sidestep from Kevy. Dodging out on the charm. Still has to dodge out on the rest of the CC combo, but great stuff from Copy. The Unraveled Earth stops him in their place. Kevy, not level 6, so doesn't have Nature's Wrath, but neither is Yuji level 6. And Meech wants to sail over the wall. Oh, man. The pressure from Zeri alone forces Spyrex to flash.
Yeah, you know that you got to get out of there immediately because Meech is in your area. And because they were able to get that first move, Yuji Spyrex didn't get what they want. The combo, like you mentioned, wasn't quite there. No, we're not going to fight. It's okay. The pressure isn't quite fully there. You want that cease and desist up and available, but I like it from Spyrex. Still making those looks, taking those chances, because that aggression is something we were missing in FlyQuest in that last game, and it's something I want to see them continue going for.
Oh, great polymorph from Breezy. Stops Masu right before he's able to get more damage. Oh my god, Breezy? Does he? Oh, but Masu turns it right back around. Just back and forth action. Oh, I know Kangas is a lot happier with the way that this game is progressing.
Wow, it's really nice. That one ends up favoring Meech a little bit just because they end up getting that wave in. Actually, it doesn't fully go in, so I take that back. But I think the biggest thing about that, I like that recognition from Masu, and I'm also wondering if he's on high ping, but I gotta hold that thought.
Copy coming in with the Weaver's Wall. Kevy's right there, locks down Yuji, and they get the...
the steal!
On top of it as well. It's disaster for FlyQuest. CLG coming in to punish. Jenkins has Philip locked down in his sights. He goes all out, but he's going all out for nothing. Jenkins still takes him down.
Oh boy, Mark, CLG, they're getting more advantage in the early game. You see it, before we were even for more than 20 minutes because of how slow things are going. We were 2-0 in favor of CLG until, I remember now, about 2250 thanks to Pixel Perfect. Shout out Kangas. And it means that now we're already way past that at 6 kills apiece, and it's still in favor of CLG. And we'll see it right here. Yuji, not quite level 6. They got the glimpse of that, so Kevy and Copy know they can make full use of their ultimates and make it so that realistically, Yuji is alone for the moment. Spyrex isn't able, because he's rooted up, to have that big impact. Makes it easier to steal the Herald. Makes it easier to help secure the kill. And for Jenkins to do what Jenkins does, baby.
You know what the funniest thing on top of everything that just happened?
What's that?
Yuji doesn't get level 6 until the Rift Herald is killed because it's local XP just given to anyone. But it's like... unfortunately, it's too late. It's too late, Yuji. And the cease and desist, almost bought time for everyone to get out. Philip is still taken out.
Yeah.
But we have to admire CLG Challengers' ability to match the pressure that FlyQuest are really accelerating in this second go-around of the same draft back-to-back.
Agreed. Like, just as much as FlyQuest are making changes, CLG are showing they can match these changes as well. Make the shifts, respond to the responses FlyQuest are going for, and it's that back and forth game here where CLG so far is still coming out on top. Yuji, you said it, local XP means he's level 6, no summoners on Meech, means this could be a pretty big play coming through here, and it's something I think FlyQuest sorely needs to go in their favor.
You know, FlyQuest cannot feel deterred just because a lot of their plays are being stiffed by CLG. Yuji tries to get in range with the cease and desist, but unfortunately for them, CLG are just too quick, able to position back, and now this is the counter response. Once again, we've talked about it before. CLG, they see FlyQuest making a move, they're willing to commit resources and punish them for overextending. Nothing comes from it. It's just pressure from Kevy and Copy moving over that forces FlyQuest back.
And the beauty of it is, if FlyQuest committed to that, they would have gotten absolutely decimated by the mid-jungle of CLG. And we talked about it last game. CLG, their whole idea, really, even though there are plays going in their favor, which is always welcome, they want to minimize their losses. So all you need to do, make sure that commitment to the bottom lane doesn't happen. All right, we're out of here. We don't need to drop the Herald yet. We are chilling, as the kids say. And CLG can continue with that energy while the presence is on FlyQuest.
Okay, Philip going all out. Jenkins has low mana, flashing away. Oh, damn! Jenkins is having a damn good day.
A damn good day indeed, Mark. That confidence from that last game must be indescribable for the top laner of CLG Challengers. and they're just going to continue that dominance into this game. Now 2-0-1, Mythic online, and so much going in favor of CLG.
Oh, Yuji decides to go for Kevi, but he blocks it with his own root, and the Unraveled Earth stops Yuji in his tracks. CLG not able to take down Yuji because a great charm from Spyrex clips Copy, stops him from taking out his jungler, but this dragon surely will go over to CLG.
The dragon stacking stopped even earlier this game for FlyQuest. They hoped that Spyrex could follow the all-in coming from Yuji, but it doesn't quite work. Again, Copy, very good at making space with that Unraveled Earth. A lot of damage coming through from this Talia, and Kevi. I think Kevi has been having a great series so far, Rafa. Again, that player who, when he first joined this league last summer, we had some questions, especially considering who was replaced in the moment, but he has had wonderful time to develop. I think shout out to CLG for giving him that chance, knowing that this was a long-term commitment, and it's already starting to bear some of its fruit.
Yeah, and for Kevi, Oceania fans will know that Kevi made a name for himself on a lot of the AP carry style junglers, farming things on the Evelyn, the the Karthus as well. Flash from Spyrex, or Kevi's story time. Damn, I just wanted to make sure nothing was about to happen. But Kevi shifting over to be more selfless, to be more of a team role player, and it was the kind of the gamble to see, okay, Kevi, you're no longer in a team where you have to be like the main carry for the squad. You know, you have players to build around you, Meech, Copy, and Jenkins, and he's fitting into this role incredibly well. The fact that all pieces of CLG Challengers are working together so harmoniously under Coach Juice, this is why we have expectations that CLG Challengers will be a contender for the title at the end of the split.
Yeah, we've been seeing it, and wow. Jenkins, I'm pretty sure this is a kill, no?
Okay, Yuji's gonna try to stop him. Vault Breaker connects, and all out from Philip.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, but the damage from Copy cleans up Philip, but Jenkins is shut down. Gold goes over to Spyrex. Kevi is there, but Spyrex and Yuji are dancing around Kevi. They look for Copy, and
they got him.
Close, but Spyrex and Yuji clutch it, everything out. And just as we were lauding CLG Challengers for their great responses, it is FlyQuest that fight right on back.
Spyrex, wearing that responsibility like a comfortable jacket, manages to pull out 3 kills and is now 4-0. Excellent from FlyQuest. The combo here that I'm really happy about is the all-out. Usually, I'm thinking in the moment, oh my god, why are you taking Jenkins away from your jungler? But Yuji can follow with the cease and desist. Very well done, very well practiced, and even though Philip goes down in the process, you set up this fight perfectly for your mid jungle to do what Spyrex and Yuji do best, and it's make the play.
That was beautiful. That, when you have questions about a roster to see if they can coordinate well, then you remind yourself that the 3 of these players, Philip, Yuji, and Spyrex, wanted to stay together as a trio. They are great friends in real life. They love hanging out together, and this is one of the moments where, despite having a new bot lane in Masu Keitong, it was just these 3, and maybe between these 3, this is the core that, like, FlyQuest, despite not necessarily having the greatest leadership set up in place in structures after Diamond left, this is what you can build upon for future games.
Yes. And we're starting to see that. It's already starting to bear fruit, and oh, that was an interesting one. It almost didn't work out for Meech, but he's fine. You know, Zeri things. And just to go off of, nothing's gonna happen. What you're saying, Mark, is that, yeah, even in the interview that you ended up doing, I believe it was last week for Spyrex, he's talking about how things have been improving since that first scrim, where things were a little tough because of the new responsibilities that he was taking on. But we're starting to see the fruits of the labor here from FlyQuest Challengers, and it's something to look forward to as the split continues on, and I think as this game goes on, because despite the comps being the same, again, this is such a different game in these first 15 minutes than what we saw in game 1, and it's exciting to see how it will continue to develop.
I mean, we always get excited when the game is far more explosive than
oh yeah,
the first one, where after the first kill, it was, what, until 22 minutes where we had the
literally
second kill, and it seemed that FlyQuest were just way too nervous about forcing the issue or when they had the advantage. And we already talked about CLG comfortable and just, hey, if FlyQuest don't want to do anything or they make small moves, we can easily counteract that. But this is where, you know, CLG, now that they know that FlyQuest are willing to push the tempo and are not going to be deterred by the push back that they give, it's like, okay, this is the push war where our CLG going to be rising every single time to the pressure that FlyQuest levels up in their advantage, or is there a breaking point?
I mean, we'll have to see. We look at what FlyQuest need to do in this game, Mark, and for one thing, I'm looking at Spyrax now, not just because of what we've been talking about, what we've been setting up for him and his responsibilities, but also he's 4-0. He picked up 3 kills from that skirmish we saw earlier on. Means he has a lot of damage, a lot of playmaking potential, and we got to see it.
Charm connects on the copy. No stasis available. Yuji follows up on the damage. Spyrax flashing away.
What?
Danger, and he's still out of there because he had the extra spirit rush for the reset. And there's
Ooh, they got him.
They find a beach, but he flashes away. Great wild growth from Breezy. Keeps him alive. Burns down to ignite. Surely would have been dead had it not been for Breezy's efforts.
And that's what I wanted to see, Mark, from Spyrax. Great setup with the Spirit Rush into the root from the Everfrost. You have Jenkins, who moved into this play as well, and they still managed to make it happen, giving Philip all this alone time on that top turret. Extra gold in his favor after everything that's happened, and Dragon in your hands. FlyQuest continue to stack.
It just seems like we're looking at an entirely different player. Like in the first game, Spyrax did not make nearly as many moves as he has now done in the second game, and I wonder if it was just a good pep talk from the team, maybe soul strikes, you know, going in there into the back room and just saying, hey man, listen, we're going to run back the same draft. I need you to be more proactive. I need you to have confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
You have the ability to make these plays. You just need to not overthink it. And that sometimes can get the best of, you know, our younger players. We know that Spyrax is technically a sophomore, his second year coming into the split, but as we have constantly talked about before, a lot more leadership responsibilities are kind of expected on him since Diamond is no longer on this roster. And now you're seeing a much more explosive FlyQuest in this second half of our series. For CLG, we turn our eyes back to Copy and Meech, because Meech had a fantastic game in game 1. Copy was kind of the facilitator for that. Do they match that?
Oh.
Well, it's not about them right now. It's about Jenkins getting ganged up on. 3-man stack. Jenkins is going down.
Really nice play coming through here. And again, you just see the way All Out syncs up really well with that Vi ultimate, the cease and desist there. And it means that Jenkins is taken off the map once again. 2-0-1 last time we talked about it. Now 2-2. Really nicely done. More aggression, more proactivity, like you were highlighting, Mark, is something that FlyQuest have just been constantly showing us here in this game too, and they just continue to stack up these advantages. We have Baron that's going to be coming up in 10 seconds. Yeah, FlyQuest have a lead, but I don't know if that's something they could necessarily play for unless they make another pick like we saw earlier. If they can all in somebody like Meech, who, by the way, doesn't have summoners, just a heads up, means that he's someone that you could definitely take advantage of if you're going to be able to find the opening. Because, I mean, Dragon is up in a few minutes, but I think if you get yourself the Baron, that's the snowball you really need.
Yep, and that puts more pressure on CLG now that they're their main superstar in terms of damage output. Still not on that 2-item spike, so Meech needs protection more than ever while both of his summoner spells are down. Whereas UG and Spyrax, their flashes are coming up faster, and Meech's flash will be. And we already talked about the Ahri Vi combo, so deadly, especially if Meech is caught out of position. If Philip finds that flank angle, CLG have to rally together, protect their backline at all costs in these next few fights.
That's right. And the good thing for CLG is that Meech's flash will be up by the next Dragon fight. So that's why I like the reservation we're seeing here. All right, let them shove waves into us. We will farm. We will concede vision for the moment here, because a play on the Meech while he's vulnerable like this is going to be so... It was going to cost CLG the Baron. FlyQuest will have that opportunity, so they know what's at stake. They are just hanging back, letting these waves come into them and just buying themselves time. But once that's available, Dragon will be up, and you need to deny that soul point from FlyQuest. Surely that's what CLG have their sights set on.
Yeah, you could see that FlyQuest were trying to bait CLG, make them scared to think that they had the Baron. started up, because for the most part, all the vision was taken out except for that ward that was in the red jungle entrance. And because of that ward, CLG had full confidence that FlyQuest, they're just trying to bait us in. They're trying to look for a couple cheeky kills to make the Baron take even safer. So nothing happens from that. Once again, just solid defense from CLG. For FlyQuest, they're not able to take advantage of that opportunity. And so now it puts us far away from any Baron opportunities anytime soon, is now Dragon the next focus in the next minute.
That's right, and that's why you see Philip, once again, in the side lane, top side, has teleport, and is just trying to keep that wave pushed up. And I like this a minute before the Drake just pushes a wave or two, and I think ideally, because nobody's matching him, he's just going to have an easy time pushing these waves out, recalling, and then walking to the fight. Won't actually have to commit that teleport unless Yuji finds the angle. Because if he was going to go for the recall, it's going to have to be right about now.
I wonder if FlyQuest had Meech's flash timer down to the second, because they definitely could have committed, but the saplings from Kevy slows Yuji down in his place. Mid prio, so for the most part, is awarded to FlyQuest. Copy has to catch the top side of the map, and right now FlyQuest just doing all due diligence, taking the necessary steps to lay down vision controls, setting up for this Dragon.
And the thing is, too, I think FlyQuest have it. Because even though Meech's flash is back up, one thing we really got to talk about really quick is that, again, we said it last game, Zeri, you're waiting for the 2-item mark, realistically. And Meech, honestly, has been a little slow in getting there. You're seeing him grab jungle camps. He might be able to get that Navori very soon, but he doesn't really have that big, he's not really scaled up and has that big spike that we expect from this champion.
He's just sitting on the 2 items. No huge crit itemization. Okay, Kevy dodges out on the cease and desist. Nice use of the W. FlyQuest.
Teleport cancel?
One of their big spools. Oh, wait. Philip is going to have to deal with 2 people now unless he goes copy going golden. He gets out alive. FlyQuest can collapse here, but there's no cease and desist. Spyrax is not able to stop.
Oh, they got him!
With the electrocute already taken down. Copy on the backside thanks to the Foxfire. That's huge. Solo laners for CLG are gone. FlyQuest now have to push advantage there forward, but Meech has already popped the ultimate. Kevy stops them in their tracks with the Nature's Wrath. FlyQuest, do they look for more?
I think you look for the Dragon at this point. You're going to be able to take that one. Spyrax, Masu, Yuji all have good enough health bars. They just want to make sure they can take down this turret, but this is a little risky.
Decent try. Oh!
Whoa! Never mind.
We have said it before and we'll say it again. Spyrax has just completely changed his flow. Confidence level in-game has just erupted out of nowhere. And FlyQuest, off the back of this is what you need to build upon. When your squad is far more confident and is able to be more decisive in these moments, this is the type of game that you can expect.
And it's something that overall that we're expecting from this roster when we look at the individual players, and we'll see it again. You called it cease and desist is dodged out on, but the teleport was canceled by Philip. So it means that Jenkins comes through to try and save his mid laner. That's 2 teleports just like that out of the picture, and Philip gets to walk away. And you'd think Copy gets to, but no, you called it. The Foxfire is what finished him off. Really nicely done. Even more gold into Spyrax's pocket. And at this point, the rest of the fight was a formality. Jenkins was playing 5 versus 1 before the team could arrive. And at this point, it was just easy pickings.
It's really incredible to just see what a contrast you can get, even when the drafts have been run back and forth. This is why I love best of 2s. Like, obviously, you know, if we could have best of 3s, you know, that'd be cool, but there's way too many teams in the Challengers League to fit that all on a broadcast schedule among 3 days. But, you know, at least getting best of 2s, yes, you know, there's always ties and there's what seems like no official winner, but it's all about development. It's all about just giving players a chance to run back some things. And it's achieving results in a similar way that scrims do, where if you, in scrims, like, you practice a concept, it's like, okay, guys, you know what? We can run back the same thing. Nothing was wrong here. We just didn't do X, Y, and Z. And just, we talked about it at the beginning of the game, and look at how everything has played out now.
I think it's fair to say he's played out beautifully, and oh, Yuji, oh my god!
Wait, the damage? Oh my goodness, Breezy still forced to use the wild growth just to not go down. I mean, it was a great Zonya's timing from Copy. Unfortunately for Breezy, he was also in the line of fire.
Yep.
And Breezy's forced out.
That's right, no wild growth. You know the support's on recall. This is the perfect time for you to just go ahead and start the Baron here, but you have to play for the turn because CLG with the teleports are going to be able to make something happen here. They don't want to let this Baron go without a fight, Mark.
One thing you alluded to, Meech just completed Navori quick plate, so as he's on the 2-item spike, if anyone can clean this one up, it will be Meech, but there's no wild growth available for him. Weaver's Wall just cuts off FlyQuest. UG turns right back.
Oh, the turn!
Calling is emptied into the tree!
See ya!
And melted down! Meech tries to get away, but UG follows him with the cease and desist. But Meech, can he turn this fight around? He has a clean shot on a Ketong, he has a clean shot on a Basu. They're burning down. Spires has to save this one.
Whoa, Meech!
Meech! But it's Philip that saves it all for FlyQuest. Jenkins now goes to the counter-strike, but he lands the stun.
Oh my god, Jenkins!
Ketong now has the run, but Jenkins gets him with the bonk stick. That lampshade goes crazy. Ace for CLG.
What an insane turnaround. We're praising FlyQuest for their decisiveness in this game, but it's Jenkins who we should praise for how he was able to turn that fight around. That would have been detrimental for FlyQuest had it gone differently, and it all seems to go well, especially because we see Copy teleport. We know Meech has no flash, and so the Weaver's Wall isn't fully committed on. They don't actually go on top of them here, so FlyQuest feel confident. Two big ults from the mid and jungler are out of the picture, so they go in. Kevy, before he realizes what happened, he's out of the picture, Mark. And usually, the all-out from Philip used to keep Jenkins off the backline is committed on somebody else, onto Copy here to help secure the kill on top of the W. And it means that, look at Jenkins, he's able to get the big counter strikes, he's able to get the big damage, and no one is able to stop him.
Back to back, Jenkins
Amazing.
clutches moments when he needs to most. And the game wasn't really about him. There was a lot of pressure from both Kevy and UG to kind of sway the matchup either ways, but once again, Jenkins just making great plays out of nothing. It almost seems like FlyQuest, tidal waves.
Jenkins, he wants more.
Jenkins, oh my goodness. This just might be the Jenkins show at this point. I mean, we were ready for Meech to tear things up, but Jenkins has something else to say about it. Forced to flash backwards. Great calling from Masu. Keeps CLG at bay. They still have UG to contest for Ocean Soul if he can get in range, but CLG have the numbers advantage. But just as I say that, Spirax in a bush blows up Breezy. 4-on-4 advantage. They look for Copy on the backline, but Spirax cannot follow up. He doesn't have Spirit Rush anymore. Jenkins, great TP, cutting off Spirax. The flash into the wall. Unfortunate for him. CLG, they were staring in the face of a redemption story from FlyQuest Challengers, who were ready to take this game into their own hands, and they had great showings in the early mid-game. But CLG, just when you doubt them the most, that is when they're our strongest.
And I think it's tough because FlyQuest might be overextending themselves just a little bit, Mark. And we'll see it when we go into the replay. But overall, this was their soul. FlyQuest felt pressured to make the play, and when it doesn't work out, they lose the opportunity on one of the best buffs in the game. And we'll see it here. Charm goes through. You're not able to really do much on top of it, though. Look at Jenkins. Uncontested, easy damage coming through, and the only thing that really stops him ends up being the charm into the culling. And this pick, this isn't even the biggest thing for me. I think even though Spirax gets an excellent pick here in a couple of seconds, it's what happens after. We are hard committing here, especially as UG, and this is where it gets dangerous. Philip is nowhere nearby. Jenkins is already teleported, and the damage is done. Meech is at full health, and what did I say, Mark? If Meech's health don't drop, CLG stay on top.
That's right. CLG. Weather the storm, the newfound storm, the winds of war that FlyQuest Challengers were bringing in this run back of the first game with a much more fierce early game showing, more moves made on the map to really inflict pressure and to enforce their will upon the rest of CLG Challengers, but defensive game from these guys cannot be understated when it comes to CLG Challengers. And now we're at a position where FlyQuest, yes, they were on Ocean Soul Point. CLG, they're back in control.
I will say, FlyQuest have that opportunity. You called it weathering the storm, and I think FlyQuest still have that chance to stoke the tempest within, Mark. They're only down 2,000-ish gold. It's gonna be down to execution. They still have ways they can win out on these team fights. You're just contending with two big things here. Meech with both the summoners and 3 items, and Jenkins, who just loves to get on your backline, and oh no.
Spyrex looks for the charm to interrupt Copy, but it... Oh, okay, wait, he dodges away from the seismic shove, and he goes through the unraveled earth. Maybe he makes it out alive, but Kevy flashing forward, wants to lock him down, wants to put an end to Spyrex's parade.
No Meech!
The rain is toxic from the side of CLG Challengers. Kevy stepping up forward. Philip looking to force Breezy and Copy away. Where is Meech, though? Meech...
Hold on. Meech is gone.
Meech is gone as well. Wait, FlyQuest maybe can still turn this fight around because Masu, as long as he dodges Jenkins out on the counter-strike,
he's dodging.
He can dodge them all, and he can take out Jenkins. Last member standing from CLG, it's Breezy and Copy, but Masu gets the stab.
Oh,
Masu! Oh my god, Philip and Masu, it's their own hero moments. When Spyrex falls, who do you call? It is Philip and Masu that can clean up the tables. And just like that, no!
Oh, the sapling!
I f***ing hate Maokai saplings, man! I hate them! Please nerf this champion, please!
That's literally game-changing. The Baron would have been theirs had Masu been able to get healed and start auto-attacking. But overall, Mark, what a beautiful turnaround from FlyQuest. We see it. They try to dive onto Spyrex, but this is an Ari we're talking about here. And Spyrex is having a game. And he's able to dodge out long enough. You see it on the minimap. But Meech, who's feeling himself, oh, maybe a little too much. Philip says, yo, this guy's trolling. Kill the Inter. And he's out of the fight immediately. And if Meech is out of the picture and you can keep Jenkins at bay, shout out to Ketong for that tidal wave, you're in a good spot. And at this point, it's all Masu dodging out, laying in all this DPS. That player we're so excited about from semi-pro last year is stepping it up in Challengers League.
Masu clutches it when they need to the most. Just beautiful spacing on everything.
No.
When it comes to replays,
I know what they're gonna do. I know what production's gonna do.
No.
No, I don't want to see this.
Not again.
I hate it so much, Mark. It's not fair. And he almost would flipped.
Ketong couldn't reach him fast enough. It's like one of those epic movies where you see the comrade fall just as you're about to deliver the Medicaid or something, and you just, it's like, no, I got you, and then shot down.
Oh,
tragic.
It's brutal, but it's not over. FlyQuest, they have a chance, Mark, and they're looking for it with this brush play.
Round numero dos. But the sapling doesn't quite make it into the bush.
Wow,
okay.
That's funny.
All right, well, Kevy, thankfully for him, saplings are a very low cooldown. He can just spam those little guys.
I can tell you're loving it. You're just loving Maokai right now, Mark. Are you snoring?
I'm not snoring. I'm just
I thought you were.
Okay, Jenkins looking for the big play. He found a 5-man counter-strike the last time. It's not as big this time,
Masu's
but
gone.
maybe it creates enough space for Breezy and Meech to just clean up house once again. No Masu, so Spyrex, you have to pull something out of nothing, but it's 4-on-2. Kevy's gone. No chance for a Baron play unless you want to chance it. CLG still have the numbers advantage. Fishing for Spyrex. No Spirit
the
Rush
ult
available.
expired.
Has to walk around. He has to flash away. Copy ready to cut him off with the Weaver's Wall.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Spirit Rush had just expired. And overall, a great fight from CLG. We saw the opposite end of it, Mark. Masu blown up immediately. Big source of damage out of the picture. And though FlyQuest fight valiantly, they aren't going to be able to get the soul that they've been fighting so hard for in games 1 and here in game 2. And now this next dragon will be soul for no matter who picks up the next dragon. And the thing I really got to highlight, we're at this point in the game, Mark. These teams are basically neck and neck. 2,000 gold at this stage. I don't care. Not important. It's about execution. And this time, it's CLG who make it happen. And you can see it. The flank from Jenkins is what does it. You see Masu trying to avoid so much. The counter-strike, the Nature's Grasp, and the Seismic Shove. It's just too much for 180 carry who didn't have his flash up. And at that point, it's just easy as pie.
This game is intense. I love it.
Yes.
This is a far cry from what we saw in game 1, where after a while, you know, FlyQuest just finally gave in to CLG, just running them over, and then CLG pretty much in full command, and that's when FlyQuest were like, okay, guys, we need to start making things happen, and at that point, it was just too late, right? But this time around, both teams have been throwing sluggers at either side, and it still seems CLG favored, but, I mean, we've seen miracles happen before.
Do you believe?
Well, I mean, it depends. The branding is technically for CLG to believe. They're the ones that, you know, when you doubt them, that's when they're at the strongest. So it almost seems like if you're a FlyQuest fan, you have to
vote
believe that CLG will win so that it counteracts the faith.
That's the tech. I don't know if you should be sharing this on broadcast, Mark. That's some powerful stuff.
Well, you know what? The same thing for CLG, you know. CLG fans, they just have to doubt their teams. Like,
that's
damn,
true.
FlyQuest got this one. Yeah, you know. Yeah, our team is getting outplayed. There's no way they come back. And then that's when the miracles happen, you know. So
very true.
There's tech for both sides of the coin. We are neutral. You're unbiased.
Of course, that's it's part of the job. And speaking of tech, I think one thing I want to be highlighting at this stage in the game, one of the biggest things that can tip the tide either way is stasis, Mark. And we're seeing a lot of stasis across the board, but most of it's on CLG's side. You got Jenkins with the stopwatch, Meech very crucially with the stopwatch, and Copy with the Zanyas. So FlyQuest, who only have stasis on Spyrax, are going to have an even more difficult time than they've had so far trying to get these crucial picks, trying to knock down these key members of CLG, and that's what I'm looking for here. Spyrax the damage!
Spyrax, huge amount of damage, but Copy doesn't go for the Zonias quite yet. Plays it cool. No flash available. He trusted in the Archangel shield to keep himself alive.
Yeah.
Spyrax, not enough damage.
Not quite. But I want to say it's very interesting to see the Horizon focus come through. I believe this is the patch where it gets a bit buffed. And the nice thing, that's why you're seeing that extra damage come out when he lands the charm. Because when you immobilize in some way, you get that bonus damage. And don't quote me on this, but I believe it's true damage. But either way, you're doing extra damage, which is what Spyrax is really looking to do.
There's definitely a damage amp. I don't remember what the numbers are, but
me neither.
Definitely right on that. FlyQuest. I mean, Spyrax is basically fishing for vibe checks at this point, where he's running the numbers and saying, okay, can I blow up this guy? Can I take this guy out of a fight? I mean, Breezy, I think he goes down every single time, which up until he bought the Negatron cloak, Breezy was not really loving the Ari face check experience.
Not really. It's a nice thing, too. Actually going to be a really important thing. I'm glad you bring it up, because certainly Breezy's going for the Mikhails. Means you will be able to cleanse the charm off someone like Meech or Copy. Oh!
Okay, Spyrax fishing for it, forces Copy to flash. Did not want to get caught up in the Everfrost route, as a charm would have surely connected. Philip, anticipating maybe Jenkins was going to look for the flash counterstrike, holds his ground. Rest of CLG just fishing to bait out cooldowns, not really overcommitting, but a flash was burned off of Copy, so it's one thing that FlyQuest can keep in the back of their minds.
Someone on FlyQuest, they got to be marking Jenkins. He is a big problem if he gets onto your backline. And if they aren't careful, he's going to be able to do big damage here. Weaver's Wall
cuts him off. Masu split on the left side with Spyrax, Ketong, and Yuji. Thankfully for Ketong, Yuji is able to front line in case the fish got exposed by CLG. But CLG, they're on the inside track towards the Dragon. This is Ocean Soul, so FlyQuest can't just easily trade for Baron. They have to fight their way through this one, and CLG have to hold their ground. This is as pretty even as you can get in a fight, and it's the most exciting one that we're going to see. Tidal Wave interrupts Jenkins' flow onto the
stopwatch.
Spyrax and Masu looking on the right side.
Big damage!
To Kevy. Copy goes golden. Yuji already used the cease and desist, but they found Copy. Philip going for the all-out. Takes out Jenkins on the right side of the map, but Meech is still undeterred. He's still full HP. And just as you said it before, beat down. If you can't take out Meech, then you can't go for the rest of the fight, but FlyQuest bully their way past CLG and grant themselves the Ocean Soul.
And it's just a matter of numbers. And a great team fight from FlyQuest means that they are able to secure such a powerful buff, the big thing that they want to play for, and now we're seeing stopwatches come more on the side of FlyQuest. Now Masu has one critically, and both of his summoners, while Meech doesn't. We talk about Meech's health. Well, this is a chance for FlyQuest to knock him off his high horse here. This incredibly fed Zeri. All he has to defend himself is the stopwatch.
CLG have to stall this one out until Copy can get back onto the field. 15 seconds before he's able to TP into this fight. And then another 6 seconds for the TP to commence the channel and get it completed. CLG poking around, trying to see if they can get vision. 6,000 HP on the Baron. Copy's coming up now. TP into the mid lane. That's the safest way he can get into it, but he has Weaver's Wall. He can look to cut them off. Watch for the knockoff. Oh,
the Baron!
The Baron tentacle knocked up Masu, and Jenkins capitalized onto the moment. Can he look for another counter strike?
The flash
still flashes forward. He backs out. He's able to kite his way out of that one. The Unraveler seismic shove catches two. Jenkins and Philip traded back and back. CLG find a way into this fight, and they force FlyQuest off the Baron.
Oh man, it's tough. Not after going 1-for-1. Spire actually wants a little more. Okay. Wow. FlyQuest, again, night and day from game one, Mark, but CLG are no slouches. It's worth noting, Masu forced to use the stopwatch. Meech actually will hold on to his. And we're seeing, I think for one thing, I know the tentacle knock-up from the Baron goes crazy. That's literally Jenkins' opportunity to jump in, commits the flash and everything, but the stopwatch again will save his life. The peel, I think, from FlyQuest, especially this game, has been so incredible. So much work from people like Yuji, like Philip, to keep someone like Jenkins on this Jax off the backline. And that's where a lot of the success is coming from, on top of Masu and Spyrex playing very well.
My heart.
I know.
Oh, this game is awesome.
Dude, a banger for Series 1. Like, you love to see it.
I love to see it, baby. Oh, the inhibitor tower still lives.
25.
23. 5 HP.
That's crazy.
If you are just tuning in to Challengers League, welcome.
Where have you been?
Where have you... Well, definitely not in Game 1. Game 1...
That's not fair.
Nowhere near as exciting as the second one. On the back half. CLG and FlyQuest playing for their lives right now. This is week 3 of the Challengers League, so... You know, we're not at the point where the games are starting to really determine where you're going to end up when it comes to playoff seeding, but this is an important moment for growth from both teams. You know, CLG kind of just handily walked over FlyQuest. FlyQuest now fighting back in second game.
Oh, speaking of fighting,
Jenkins looking for Masu, but Philip with the all-out separates him from Masu.
Oh, he has
Nature's Wrath cuts him off. No flash to play with, so Masu has to play for his life. And that comes at the cost of FlyQuest not being able to really take that fight. CLG bully their way in controlling the river for the Baron.
Yeah, they commit a lot for it. The Nature's Grasp, you have the Weaver's Wall. They use a lot to make sure they can get themselves space. I think the biggest thing to note that we have a Zonya's purchase from Jenkins. The new AP ratios on the Jax rework make this one a pretty interesting purchase because of the extra damage you can do when casting your ult, but the constant stasis could be game-changing for how Jenkins is able to interact with the backline, dodging crucial CC and things like that.
Oh my goodness, they want to commit on to Kevi? I mean, if they take out the jungler here, that means no smite for the Baron. They
the damage!
That's the jungle gone from CLG. Now what can they do? Great flash from Keitong, dodges out on the seismic shove. CLG still in pursuit, but it's a 4-on-5. No ultimate available for Yuji for the next few seconds here.
Yeah, we'll say we're at the point in the game. Cooldown's very low, Mark, so it might be able to come back up, but they're going to get the Baron unless something crazy happens.
Wow, and there's no vision on that. Oh, well, okay. There's not vision directly on the bush, but great prediction from Copy. Just knowing that Spyrex had to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
That forces the flash, but it's the Baron secured for FlyQuest.
Yeah, so that Baron-empowered recalls is a big thing here. Of course, you get the gold, you get the Baron buff. Everything is so good, but I like this. They aren't backing right away. They're going to have this extra bit of time for Dragon fights. You want to be able to back around that 40-second mark, but they still can take a turret. They still can get this wave in before they end up going. They don't want to overstay their welcome because, Mark, they have a lot of gold to spend as we are going into what could very well be the final fight. If we talk about map state, FlyQuest are in a pretty good position here. Their side lanes are pushing in. People have to answer them. All they need to do is push out this mid lane, and you already see Yuji walking into the bottom side, starting to set up vision, starting to get this opportunity. So they can do it.
They're pinging.
Oh my
They
God.
want to go for the fight. Flashes comes out of Breezy, brings Yuji right into the thick of the backline, and that may have just been a little too far. Not everyone from FlyQuest could have followed up. Keetong is caught out of position.
Oh, no.
He had no flash, and CLG punish the overextension from FlyQuest. Philip forced to flash. CLG will walk away with the Elder Dragon on their side.
And a big fight, a big punish from CLG means that at this point, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to contest this Elder Dragon. You can see it, Spyrex is walking top. All you can hope for, because your base hasn't been exposed yet, is that you push out these waves to buy yourself time.
Yep.
If I'm remembering correctly, the Elder Dragon buff, 2.5 minutes, 3.5 minutes, something like that. So getting these lanes pushed out for FlyQuest is so important so that they can just avoid fighting, not actually have to commit until that buff expires.
Yeah, as you said, great punish from CLG, but good defensive maneuvers from FlyQuest, not even trying to fool themselves into thinking they could contest the Elder and potentially give up more lives just fishing for a miracle play. Just take the steps necessary to buy yourself time, allow Yuji to get back on the map. You now will have all 5 members ready to play for, but CLG, they're pushing down the mid lane. Bottom lane is already pushing out because FlyQuest could not attend to it earlier. It was only the top side. Jenkins gets it pushing. And now they are just going to play the next 2.5 minutes out where they are just fishing for any fight and using that Elder Dragon buff to be the final execute.
That's right. I was talking about how Ocean Soul is one of the most powerful buffs in the game. Well, Elder is the most powerful, as I'm sure we're all aware. And you can see it. Animation is there on their character models. They are very powerful right now, and that's why FlyQuest, again, clear out whatever clear out whatever waves you can to just slow down the loss of this inhibitor. I say slow down because at this point, even with the Baroned up minions, because it's going to expire soon, you're going to lose something from your base here as long as you avoid the fight, which I mean you should.
Nature's Wrath forces FlyQuest off the inhibitor tower. Weaver's Wall cuts them all off, lines them all up in a row. FlyQuest dodge out on anything that could have been the end of their lives. Trade an inhibitor instead.
Oh.
Culling doesn't quite find the mark. It chunks out Breezy, but nowhere near enough to put him at lethal where he has to recall anytime soon. CLG just playing with waves. As you already called it before, Baron buff is gone for FlyQuest.
Yeah, the nice thing is FlyQuest, they have the Ocean Soul, so even if they take a little damage, they are going to be able to heal that up without having to go into the base. We're getting really close to the expiration of this buff. I think 30 more seconds, and FlyQuest have successfully weathered the storm. And with no ults to speak for, really, CLG can't go for the all-in.
Whoa! Good flash from Kevy. That charm, crucial from Spyrex, chunks out the jungler for CLG. Kevy makes it out alive, but man, that could have been changing for CLG.
That's right, and I like that. You're playing with expectations a little bit as FlyQuest. You expect that. I mean, when you're facing the Elder buff, Ocean Soul or no, you're going to be backing up. But they managed to use their range. Things like the culling, things like just a little bit of all-in. You know, you don't have to commit all the way. Just give them a little taste. And Kevy is forced to blow his flash. They lose only one inhibitor, and the Elder buff has officially expired. FlyQuest now are at a more comfortable position to once again start team fighting, because we're at this point where like everybody's full build, except for like the junglers. Okay, everyone who does damage is full build. That's what I'm trying to say here, Mark.
Everyone has reached their max potential. Even Masu is running on no boots. He is just depending on the extra movement speed from the rapid fire Zeal item at this point, because you have to depend on the GA, because if you get bursted down, and then it's over. So you need a second life just to make sure FlyQuest have something. And for CLG, oh wow, okay, Meech is not rocking the GA. He's just gone for more crit. I think I
like that.
He's got a lot of crit.
Yeah.
He's overstacked on crit. This guy is pumping damage.
And you know why that's good too? Because like you have instead of going for IE, you have the Navori, which means you do your abilities do extra damage based on how much crit chance you have. So overloading on crit chance like that, I think, ends up being very beneficial mathematically. And either way now, again, everyone's reached their potential. And as it has been for the last 15, maybe 20 minutes, as we're at minute 51 mark, it's execution. We know how these teams want to play things out. We know FlyQuest want to all in somebody, keep Jenkins off the back line with Phillips all out, and all the CC this Cassante has. CLG, they're going front to back with the exception of Jenkins, looking for those angles, and it essentially boils down to Mish versus Masu. Whoever takes the carried out has the best chance of winning the fight.
Aaron is started up by FlyQuest. Jenkins is splitting on the other side of the map, but that's the teleport out immediately. 6,000
they might be able to finish.
5,000, 4,000, 3,000. Kevy can't get in there. Unraveled Earth is there. UG secures the Baron. Keitong forced to use the mechanics to get away from Jenkins. He goes golden with the Zonias. Spyrex on the right side of the flank, just keeping CLG busy. Spyrex still has a flash to play with it. He didn't even need to use the Spirit Rush. He's out of there. FlyQuest secure the Baron.
And they're out of there, Mark. FlyQuest, they get the extra gold, which at this point doesn't mean much, but they get to push out these waves that much easier, which is so important because we're 1 minute from the second Elder Dragon. So the faster you can recall, the faster you can push these waves out with those Baron-empowered minions, the better maps that you'll find yourself in. So FlyQuest, it was a gamble, and it pays off marvelously. And again, we're at this point where you can just use ultimates all willy-nilly because they'll be back by the time you fight up again. Spirit Rush is here. Again, after just being used, you have the tidal wave also back in the picture here for FlyQuest. They have the tools to succeed, but so does CLG.
And CLG defense once again. You see Kevy already stacking up multiple bushes in the jungle with the saplings. Pulling their way through the front door in the mid lane. Masu double clips emptied, pulling completely takes out Kevy and Copy's health bars. They are forced out of their own jungle. They are hugging for dear life on the right side of this fog of war where Jenkins is sneaking into FlyQuest's own blue jungle. Does he have the flank angle? It would be a miracle for CLG to make this one work. Teleport comes out from Copy. Philip is buying time, keeping Jenkins away, but Spyrex is assassinated by CLG. 5 on 4 now. Keitong is in a world apart. There's no way he gets out of this one alive. 5 on 3.
This is it.
FlyQuest have lost their numbers. They've lost their men. Copy is sacrificed. FlyQuest is able to take him out, but Meech once more looking for UG, looking for Masu. The damage, the huge knockup for Philip is going down. No way, Meech with Philip.
They got him.
He finds Meech and Masu's still alive. CLG,
oh my God.
What is happening?
The Ocean Soul, it's coming in so clutch, and Masu being able to just weave in so much damage is able to keep FlyQuest, in the game. Elder is up, no one can commit for it, and realistically, once Philip gets in here, they can get a little more aggressive. No Meech, and Masu is so strong.
The culling is just ripping CLG members to shreds that forces them back, and because they still have the Baron buff, they can still play around with mid-prio. They can look to just pressure the base instead if they ever build up enough minions. CLG are forced to recall. There's no teleport for Jenkins. There's no teleport for Copy. It's just Kevy. He has a flash. He has vision of the Elder Dragon, but FlyQuest are burning this down. Kevy, if you steal this, I swear to God, Kevy, if you can somehow steal this, it would be the most incredible thing. It's reset. 6,000 HP. They know. 4,000, Nature's Wrath that comes out. Spyrex is fishing around for the flank. FlyQuest, do they stop damage onto the Elder Dragon? They're holding it. They don't want a chance if they just look for Kevy. Brilliantly played by FlyQuest.
Beautiful.
They don't take the 50-50. They ensure that the jungler is gone, and they secure the Elder Dragon.
We are seeing the potential we believed in with this FlyQuest roster, playing against CLG Challengers, Rafa, who we all believe to be title contenders. And FlyQuest are looking to turn around this insane game. 1 minute on Kevy, and you have a 4 versus 5 to deal with if CLG want to stay in the game.
Baron buff has already expired. It is just the Elder buff on FlyQuest's side. Waiting on this next minion wave, CLG have to find a way to step up safely without getting assassinated by UG and Spyrax's combo. Philip also threatening with the 13 knockout. They go
This
for
is
it.
it.
Elder Dragon, it surely should burn down Jenkins with the execute. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. FlyQuest soar above high, run back the same damn draft, and they show that they can adapt. FlyQuest will tie it up.
Meech's health dropped, and it's FlyQuest who stayed on top, Mark. An insane finish at almost an hour-long game. I'm sweating right now, but it's insane to see FlyQuest.
Only our first series beat down.
Yes!
We've got 2 more after this.
I know, and what a great end, though, for FlyQuest to be able to get the 1-1, start to show more of what we've been expecting from this roster, showing us these peaks, and only being week 3, they surely have higher to go.
Well, FlyQuest showed that they could bounce back, running back the same draft. CLG, I mean, there's great moments of defense from them, and it showed that they are able to tango with FlyQuest when the pressure got high, but in the end, it was FlyQuest that clutched it when it mattered most. We're going to a short break. When we come back, it's Kangas interviewing FlyQuest.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, for our post-series interview. I have almost all of FlyQuest challengers after that insane victory in game number 2. It's like 56 minutes on the timer, something like that. Multiple Elder Dragon fights, multiple Baron fights after a crazy game number 1. So I know that I talked about it a little bit with you before we went live, but energy levels. Spyrax, you said you're going to take a nap. Yuji, how are you feeling? Is the adrenaline pumping?
Not really. I'm ready to go to bed as well.
It sounds like y'all had a rough night. Y'all woke up like 2 hours before the game, is that right?
I think I woke up earlier, around 9. So
Okay.
I had a good sleep.
All right, Yuji was good. Yuji was good. Based on Philip's look, I think that Philip woke up about 20 minutes before game number 1. Am I close to Philip?
Yeah, you guessed it right. I was actually late for like the draft meeting right before this, so yeah, it's because I woke up 20 minutes before.
Well, I didn't realize that, but I'm happy that I was able to guess it correctly. I want to start off by asking a question to the 3 players that are returning to the roster from last year. Of course, being the top half of the map, Philip, UG, Spyrax. We've heard stories, we've been talking a lot on broadcast that the 3 of you kind of wanted to play again together going into this new year. Where do you feel you were at the end of last year, and how do you feel like you've either leveled up or, things that you're still working on going into this next year? Because it's really cool when we see rosters stick together over a full year. I want to hear from Philip first, and let's just go down the line. Philip, Eugene, and then Spyrax.
Well, I mean, I think for me it's a bit different because I think towards the end of last year, I escaped them. I ran away. So, I think from where we left off, we all got better individually. I expanded my trampoline pool, I guess. I guess these guys already played everything, and I think we just got better individually, got better as a trio, I would say.
I like it. Yuji, what about you? Thoughts?
I think I would say we all got better individually, and I would also say we are all good friends in real life. I think that also helps, like trusting each other and playing well.
I mean, definitely, I saw a lot of trust from some of those, deep invades and engages into CLG's jungle. Spyrax, final thoughts from you from kind of the core of last year.
Yeah, I mean, me and UG played throughout the whole summer, or throughout the whole year, so I would say our synergy became like a lot better. Phil was playing in LCS during that time, in summer, so I mean, he got a lot better individually, and I'm sure he learned like a lot in terms of like how like games should be played like in the mid game and stuff, and what he should be calling for. And we also had a Korean boot camp at the end of the year to like be even more prepared. So everything's good so far, I would say.
That's cool. Now, Keetong, you're the newest member to the crew, coming in as a substitute for this year. Awesome to see you slotting in with this team, but obviously as one of the newer members to an established core, how have they been treating you? Are you doing good over there? Blink twice if we need to send help.
I think coming in here, I had expectations because I knew these players beforehand, and I was good friends with them already, so the relationship was already established, but I think they also really helped me become more comfortable, whether it's in-game or outside of the game. We're always doing things together, outside, going out to eat, hanging out, anything. But also a huge shout out to the staff who also helped me adjust to playing for this team.
I love it. I love to hear stuff like that. What's your favorite memory so far of something outside of League of Legends that you and the team have done together so far?
I think when we all went out to play basketball and we just can't aim. We can't shoot the ball
We
into
play video games for a living.
So we struggled, but we had fun.
Who's the best, though? Who's the best at basketball?
Between us four, I think it was Philip. Honestly, we're all pretty bad, but like,
No one was good. Everyone's just so bad.
Getting dissenting opinions here, man. That's good. Well, it's awesome to see you, Slotty and Keaton, but I gotta bring the question to everybody. Masu is not with the team. He's playing with over 100 ping from Canada right now. Keaton, you've been laning with him, so I want to get your thoughts first. Is this kid human, or is this an AI playing the video game? Because with that much ping, I cannot comprehend the kind of movement that he's having in-game.
I mean, honestly, he's just really good, and despite the ping difference, he's able to just compete against the best ADs right now. And as a duo, we're getting better and playing a lot better together. And honestly, it can only go up from here, I think.
Absolutely. I would love to get some insights from some of the players that have also, like I said, been part of that core from last year. What was the scouting like for Masu? Was he also somebody that any of you had an established relationship with, or was this new when you heard his name?
Yeah, I guess none of us really knew him. I don't know if I could speak for you guys, but I knew him from like solo queue. I thought he was really good, and there were times where I thought he was a pro, but he was just some random kid, right? So yeah, I mean, when we got him, I was excited to see what he could do, going from a pure solo queue player to competitive.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really cool, when you see a new name on a roster, I'm like, I have no idea who this kid is. Let's just go into this game and kind of figure it out together. And then you see the performances that he's having so far, definitely turning heads. Well, I want to give the opportunity, because we want to wrap up here shortly. Shout-outs. Does the team have a shout-out for anybody at home, anybody watching that you want to give a quick shout-out to?
I'll just give a quick shout out to the team, of course, but friends and family back at home. For me.
Friends and family. I love it. What about you, Spyrex? Let's go down the line real quick. Rapid fire.
Shout out to Tomo and Diamond. Love those guys.
Tomo and Diamond, let's go. Yuji?
Shout out to Tom and Diamond as well, and shout out to the coaching staff, of course, and shout out to Fahad. He's been playing very insane.
Love it. And then Philip, I believe you're the last one.
Shout out to only Diamond, not Tomo. I'm just kidding. Shout out to Tomo and Diamond. I love those guys.
I was going to say, I'm not sure what Tomo did, but I hope he does. Either way, thank you for coming on, everybody, and chatting. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck going into prep for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
With that said, we're going to send it to a short break before we're back with our second series of the day. Don't go anywhere.